This is Musie's YouTube podcast recorded at approximately, what time's the laptop say? 3:56 p.m. on May 3rd, 2013. And today's subject is family and what its true definition is. No script this time, guys. Hello, and how are you all doing? Recent update, I have a fake pipe now. I have no idea how this thing works. I recently got this pipe. Actually, last night I went to a party place and they had like a whole bunch of steampunk stuff. I actually really love steampunk fashion. Not so much the environment. The environment's okay, but I love the fashion of steampunk. And they had this. You blow into it, but nothing comes out. But it looks like you could. Excuse me. It looks like you could put something in it, and you take the mouthpiece off, and there's like this clear, weird ball tubey thing, and I don't know what the heck it's for, but there's that. I also got like a few like jewelry and hats and stuff like that. Got finals next week. I will be done with this semester, and then hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, I will be going to ColossalCon as scheduled, as planned, from 6th to the 9th of June this year. So if you're going to ColossalCon, I will see you there. I will not be bringing any podcast material. I will be bringing a camera, though. Might take pictures, probably will take video. And I have 2 panels running, so if you're going to go to that, I will be doing martial arts and anime, as well as glitches, achievements, and Easter eggs. So if you're interested in those panels, feel free to come on by and say hello. Again, I will not be bringing any podcast material, but we'll see what happens. Kind of just depends on what's going to roll. So today's subject's a little bit touchy. This is my second take. I apologize ahead of time if it feels a little unorganized. I didn't really have much to think about this one. I really didn't even meditate on it. I just literally am jumping into this head on. So I apologize ahead of time for the lack of prep, as I will be winging this. Because the subject is a really interesting one. I'm trying to pinpoint the ideal definition of family. But the only thing I can come up with is that family is broken into 2 categories. One is your blood family. Your blood family are those you're genetically related to, which is true. But it also can be defined as whomever raised you. So say an adoption purposes, say something happened, your mother didn't want you or whatever, your genetic mother did not want you, or you were put up for adoption for whatever reason. Your foster mother and father, or whomever, would be your blood family, blood being air quoted. And then there is your real family. And I'll get into that in a second. But first off, blood family. First off, a little quick subject with mine. I don't have the perfect family. It's ironic because some of you might have noticed in a couple of recent podcasts that I have been moved to a different location. I am no longer in the house that I was with in the first place. I'm actually currently in a different home, and it'll probably be like that for a while. And I'm actually living, get this guys, if you don't remember, my ex-stepmother, whom we have great connections with. She's like a very good friend of mine. She's almost like a best friend to me. And maybe even categorized with my real family, who knows? Probably. Not saying that by insult, but just trying to piece together the concept of her and I. And she will be referred to as the ex-stepmom for identity purposes. For identity protection. My parents divorced when I was 10. It wasn't official until I was 12, but the split did occur when I was 10. My older sister, as a refresher, who is autistic, loves Sailor Moon and Ninja Turtles and Mighty Ducks. Don't ask, I don't have any idea. It was almost an animal trend until Sailor Moon, so I have no idea what that's all about. But she was 12, I was 10. And things were hard enough with that as it was. That's a different conversation all in itself. But at least with terms of what a blood family was before the divorce, I thought I had a perfect blood family. They never fought in front of us. We never had those tough situations where everyone was yelling at each other. There was violence. In fact, there really wasn't that. But it was also very rare when I was with mom and dad at the same time. So I might have felt it was perfect in the sense that it was peaceful and pleasant and lovely. Heartwarming, sure. But again, I was a kid. In terms of blood family, this is the material family. This is the family you grow up with. This is the family that you see at outings. These are the family members that you have the crazy uncle, the war veteran grandpa, and the classic pie maker grandma. The overly religious great uncle and aunt. And, well, his other brother that no one ever talks about. But they are family. Air quote, family. And so, as I continue to describe to myself the terms and definitions of what a family is, I slowly started coming to realization that my family is a little crazy. Not just directly, but indirectly. My uncle has been in the paper a couple of times he's very protective, let's just say that, for misdemeanor. That's what it's called? My grandfather has gone through kidney stones, cancer, 2 different kinds of cancer, if I'm not mistaken, and all sorts of crazy things of the like. And I have high respects for him for that. I have high respects for my uncle. I have high respects for other people in my family. But when you live in a family where you can't quite 100% get behind your parents, that can be rough. Now, first off, I am not lesbian, gay, bi, transgender. I'm not any of that. I'm not completely a social abnormality. If you want to count Asperger's as that, fine, but if not, hey, I'm not judging you. I'm average. Awkwardly average. You can ask some of my friends and my real family. I'm a little awkward. Very awkward, even. And the thing about this is that when I try to break down what family truly is, by the way, I'm sorry for the crackling sound of my Pure Life water by Nestle. No advertising there at all. Just happened to be the bottle of water near me. I'm extremely thirsty. I have no idea why. Gee, maybe it's because my fish tank is sitting right next to me. Finally got it working. Thank God. Where was I? Of course, I always lose track. I need to have some sort of tracker I can keep track of what I say as I say it. Which, also, if I remember at the end of this summer, there's going to be some really exciting news if everything goes through. I will attempt to remind myself about that, too. But if anybody in my real family knows me, I'm awkward normal. Yeah, I'm awkward normal. What that means is I'm generally normal. I don't do drugs. I don't disobey the law, not on purpose. I recently got a speeding ticket because I was just really tired. I was really, really tired, and I was just worn out. And I was speeding to get home and got caught. Whoops, what do you do? I also know that, according to my real family, I am annoying. I know I am. I'm very annoying. Nothing I can really do about that, because that's just how my logic makes sense. And I don't want to get back on the Asperger's kick, because that's not what this is about, but especially during the parents' initial divorce for my sister, it was hard. She got all the attention, whatever, I don't care. I really don't. But then you have this perfect picture as a kid, assuming that they don't get divorced when you're too young, is that you have this perfect concept of what a family is. And even if after the divorce, you might still consider, I have a great mom, I have a great dad, I love them both equally, and everything's hokey dokey artichokey. And that's fine. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. In fact, I congratulate you for being in that situation where you can go to them equally. That's rare and hard to find. But when you delve too deeply into that concept, especially when the divorce rate's like 85% now, because our divorce is just so damn high, suddenly blood family doesn't really matter anymore. Suddenly blood family doesn't mean anything. Because you get kind of depressed when you start realizing that people treat you differently. When you're the black sheep. You're the black sheep of the house. You know what I mean? The black sheep of the house. I'm trying to be funny. It's not really working. But you're the black sheep. And so you tend to have this outcasting. And people treat you differently. And that's not okay. No one should feel that way. But I can say this. There are other people to treat you as family. And when you're young, you need to know this. You can have people in your family, air quote family, who are not blood related or marriage related to you. There is a whole different concept of family that people don't understand. For example, there are people in this world who think that only those of genetic, marital, or governmental reasoning can be your family. And you're so damn narrow-minded if you say that. Because family is not defined by the blood that streams throughout your veins. It's not the eyes, the hair that you've been descended upon. It's not the annoying itchy feet. It's not the annoying allergies. It's not the annoying genetics that have been passed down to you by someone else's bad genetics. It's not defined by whom you lived with, by whom raised you. It's not defined by those who took your toys away as a kid or as an adult, in my case. Not getting into details. It's not defined by the last name. It's not defined by it's not defined by those who claim to be related, claim to love you. They claim to love you. There's a difference. They claim to love you but don't show it. I don't know if that's going to make sense to some people. You claim it but you question it. That's not family. Family are the ones that go beyond what your body is. Family goes beyond what your head says. Family goes beyond what your heart says. And family goes beyond what your life says. What do I mean? Well, I've got a few people in my head right now. I'm not going to mention names. There's a few special mentions because they're not necessarily my family. I don't know them well enough to be my family. But I do take high respects for them, as they have changed my way of thinking a lot. Made me critical think. They made me do things that has benefit myself. But these people, I hate to use the word don't care, because that's not right. They make you feel like you are one of the same. It's that sister you weren't born with. It's a best friend that God said is your other sister. It's the brother that you've always wanted to help teach and raise, but you never got. It's that older person whom maybe you don't want her to be your real mom, but holds traits that you wish your mom did have. Because you can't replace your mom and your dad. You can't. Don't think that you could replace your real mom and your real dad. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are things that people act and do and preach and tell and say and act that are ways that make sense to you. and that you think and know is okay because they accept, they love, they trust. They have your back as much as you have yours. You have theirs. You know that within those certain short apparent times that you could be fighting with them, you'll make up. But because your mom's yelling at you and she's apparently right, you can't go back. You feel like you've been kind of abandoned because she's right, you're wrong. It's not about who's right, who's wrong. It's about taking the chance to listen and know that they have a point, and you may need to look out for that, whatever that lesson is. But in the end, you still accept. The real family is the one that takes time to find. It might even be blind to you at first. And they'll surprise you on some idle Tuesday with your favorite video game, your favorite book, maybe a Harry Potter one, the Dr. Screwdriver. Because they know. They know you. They know you well enough to know something's wrong. They know how to fix your problems. Well, no, they don't always know how to fix your problems. They will sure as hell damn well try. They're the people who will listen to you whine and cry and just whine about life. They're the ones that know that everything's hard, but it's okay. They know you have problems. They know you have tics. They know that sometimes you say things you don't mean to because the brain can't connect to your mouth correctly. They know that for some reason, don't know why, but in your head there's a big giant fucking shadow monster chasing you everywhere, running down a hallway, turning out all the lights until you're consumed by darkness. Because that's all you know. But they know something better. They know of light and love. And if you spend enough time with them, maybe it'll go away or maybe it'll subside until next time when you can call them up and say, hey, something's wrong. They're the ones that'll take you out and they'll listen even if you don't want to talk because you feel like you're a burden to them. And they shake their heads and say, no. It's okay. It's okay. I know what's going on. I can sympathize. I can empathize. I understand. I accept you. Tell me what's wrong. And even if it sounds silly or stupid, they'll take you in anyways. Some parents don't. Parents, unfortunately, have this strict understanding of their past life, and they feel that that's all there is to life, is what they've previously known. It's always been this way, so that must be how life works. And then if something change is a bad thing, apparently. Even though change is a neutral word, it could be good or bad. So when somebody says to me, is change a bad thing? I'm like, I don't know, what's the change? If it's a good thing, good, it's a good thing. If it's a bad thing, then okay, it's a bad thing. I can't judge the word. It's like saying family is a good thing. I'm like, well, it depends. Do you have a family who beat you, or do you have a family who loved you? They're the ones that take everything into account. And when you say do your research, they spend 4 hours looking into it. They look at the past and how it's changed into now's definition. They look and see that maybe this is completely different and I need to take a different approach to this. They'll listen to the words that are spilling out of your mouth in an effortless rant because you have no one else to listen. They're the ones that you can laugh with because they get it. They're the ones that'll sit in front of a TV and watch anime with you. No, anime is not a cartoon. A cartoon is a short that has its own mini story, usually made in America. Usually. There's differences, though. And has obnoxious, funny punchlines and gags. Usually comedy-based. Little kid stuff. Not all anime is for kids. Next time somebody says Van Helsing is a cartoon. You show them the scene where I think there's a Nazi eating a pig. Show them that scene. Yeah, this is totally for kids. Okay. You tell them South Park could be debatably a cartoon. It's not really a cartoon by definition. Yeah, it's animated, but it's not for kids. That's my only really definition of it, is that it's animated and for kids. If it's animated and for adults, it's not a cartoon. Sorry. And I think the term cartoon needs to be discarded anyways. Off topic as usual. So I apologize. I almost got emotional there for a second. I was starting to get tears welled up. My throat hurts. It's starting to get dry. I really don't want to do anything. I really just want to cry. Because I feel like my family are the ones that aren't always with me because of the distance that they live physically. They live like an hour away. You have to take the highway to get to them. And sometimes, for myself at least, I can't be around people for too long. I have to take my time to myself. And as well, I can't just be by myself. I have to take the time to get out. So it's complicating whenever somebody says, you want to come over? And I'm sitting there debating with myself whether to go over. Even if they are part of my real family, I have to actually take time to myself and go, no, just take the day off. Just take the day off. Relax. Do your own thing. Get online. Tell them, hey, instead of hanging out, you want to just get online, play Guild Wars 2? Yeah, let's do it. But the definition of family comes from something far beyond what we normally morally put together. I don't even know what it says in the dictionary for the definition of family. Maybe I'll put it in the description somewhere. But I know that deep down, my family is not of blood. It's not. It's not a blood family. I have my blood family, but I won't go to them for anything. I have other family. Other people who I go to because they listen. They get it. They're unbiased. I mean, they had their moments, but so does any family of any kind, whether blood or real. It doesn't matter. They have their moments. They're going to. And I know that this one has so many pauses and gaps, but I'm sorry. My brain's in a stall. It is. It really is. I'm tired all the time. I'm worn out again, mostly because of stress. And just trying to figure out this definition of family. Because everybody's like, family reunion. You know who I picture? I picture the gamer. I picture the male gamer who doesn't live that far away from me. He's like a brother. I picture the cosplayer who lives like 2 hours away. Thinnest rail I've ever seen. But would laugh at anything I almost say. I love it when I make her smile. She's like a sister. I love the other cosplayer friends I have. One that lives like 45 minutes away, half hour or so. And her girlfriend who probably lives like 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from here as well. They're so cute together. They're like sisters to me too. I picture a guy who lives out of state who goes out and crunches numbers all day. I don't know how he does it, but he crunches numbers. That's it. Crunches numbers. There are people who used to be on my real family list, but due to unfortunate ties and things they've said, they're not on my list anymore. Not to say they're not on my friends list. They're absolutely great friends, and I would love to hang out with them sometimes, but there are times where it just doesn't make sense. And I don't picture them that way anymore. There are special mentions. There's a guy who used to work at my work through programs and services, and he was great to talk to. He brought up moral debates. We would talk while putting clothes out on the rack. I love it. He was awesome. He was a special mention. He was like that really distant cousin you never talk to, but then when you do, you're really excited because of the great things you talk about. And I picture other people, but right now my brain's like fried. I have special mentions at work who I go to. They're kind of like my distant cousins or my distant grandparents. I don't fully have a full-on family yet. I feel like I'm still building that. I feel like my ex-stepmom is like a really good best friend, and she could be like my aunt. She can't be my mom. No one can be my mom and no one can be my dad, and that's okay. I'm not afraid of that. But she does come off as like a best friend, so I'm not afraid of that. My real family are those I don't get in contact all together all the time because we just live too far apart and we have such opposite work schedules. We don't live together. You don't have to. Sometimes it's best for your family to be away, and that's okay. It's okay to not live with your family. Keep that in mind when you get older and you have a job. It's alright to get away. It's alright to get away as a young kid. I never got to do that, and now I'm trying to catch up. And I want people to realize that family is not the people who don't tuck you into bed. Family aren't the people who give birth to you, though that does play a major part. I never understood that. Because I gave birth to you, that's why you want to do this. That's not a good enough reason. I'm sorry. Just because you gave birth to me, don't mean at the age of 12 you can do certain things. Maybe it's cruel-hearted to think that way, but I never found that a very good reason. Because I'm your mother, I'm your father. So what? So you're my mom, so you're my dad. That doesn't mean anything to the item at hand that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm a tough egg to crack sometimes, but today not so much. There we go. My cursor accidentally highlighted some of the audio. But I want people to realize that the family that they can talk to are those that sometimes don't tuck you into bed. Sometimes the family members who care the most are the ones that are not blood related. They're the ones that will listen and know what you're talking about. Will understand and learn that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not normal. You're not perfect. You're you. You are your own design. You know, I'm sick of family members saying, oh, she has this wrong with her, or she has this perfectly right with her. Why can't they just say, oh, that's just so like her to do that? That's exactly who she is. That's exactly in perfect pattern. Even if it's a bad thing, I hate to say that a little bit, but even if it's a bad thing to say, you know, oh, that's just so her. But that's okay. It's okay to go to elsewhere for a family. Don't feel like as if you can't. Because if you can't go somewhere else to family, then what good is there? To think that only your mom and dad, your grandma and your grandpa are the only people you can go to for family. Because it's more than just blood. It's love. As corny as that sounds, that's love. Love conquers all. Alright, enough of this heartwarming, sad podcast. Sorry to bring you guys down a little bit. I had a little bit of personal issues going on. I don't get along with my mom and dad very well, so I apologize for this dragged out. This was a drugged podcast. From Jello to cookies. How baked am I? So, anyway, what I was going to finish off. Oh, yes, in the summer, I may not be going to the usual county campus that I am currently going to. I might go to a bigger campus. I'm not going to release names until I know it's going to work out. It's pretty big. It's like the size of a mini city. It's like one of those massive campuses. We're going into communications, so stuff like this would be a lot of fun to do. Contact everybody and be all like, let's have a party. But in the middle of that, hopefully be getting back on my feet again. Hopefully low-income housing will kick in and I will be able to move out on my own. We'll see how that works. I want internet. I don't want anything else. I'll figure out a way to work with, like, no water. I want my internet. So, closing off this highly emotional, I apologize, podcast. What is my fish doing? He is hovering by the outlet, the little tube that goes in, that pulls the water out and goes into the filter. he's like hovering next to the opening. I think he actually had himself curled in under the opening, and it was really weird to look at. I swear, I thought my fish was trying to like kill itself. Bad fish. Bad fish. So, that's your podcast. I never got anyone for the autism awareness or autism acceptance month. Kind of upsetting. So, didn't get that. I will now be closing off. I am at my 30-minute mark. This is Musi for you. Musi's YouTube podcast. I'm tired, as usual. Throat hurts. Gotta finish up some laundry. Might have some supper. Might go out and play Magic. We got a take-home exam, so I'm supposed to be doing that. Now, I'm going to do this instead. If I find other people to tag on my Facebook who I consider family, I will tag them. I will also do special mentions tag, where, like, you've made an impact in my life, a positive impact in my life, and you've done great things for me, and you're not excluded from this, so keep that in mind. Don't take that as an offense, by the way. It's not that you're not important as a family member, but you have done amazing, great things, and you still deserve to be mentioned, and you are a big part of my life. So please do not take that as an offense. It is simply a, wow, you guys are awesome. You've done these great things, and you will be in my heart forever. So, again, this is Musi for Musi's YouTube podcast. Reporting off. Have a good weekend, guys. Hopefully all is good. If you're still doing school, good luck on your finals. If you're not in school, get out there in the sun. It's supposed to be nice. Prayers go out to the middle end of the county of like the U.S. Apparently you're getting a lot of snow from what I get. Be safe out there in the snow. This is ridiculous. You guys should not be getting snow. Have fun out there and be good, guys. Be good, guys. Be good kids. Ladies, men's, children's, dogs, cats, fish. Be good. Last thing I need to hear is one of my viewers doing something stupid because I said something. And then everyone, like, gets on me. So, yeah. I will see you all later. Thanks a lot, and peace out.